Jakarta. How are you doing tonight? You having fun? What amazing content. I really loved it. This is my second time in Jakarta and it's so inspiring. It's not going to be the last time, I can promise. Amazing food, by the way. So, my name is Upen Barve. I'm based in Berlin and I'm actually a fusionist. I get to work a lot with the sales guys, the developers, futurists, data scientists, designers, etc. That's my daily world. And of course, the customers and partners. And at the moment, I'm working for SAP. Do you know SAP? How many? Some? Okay. So SAP is Innovation Center Network, and I head the customer strategy over there. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about future. I guess you know why. It's important, right? Because you, me, everybody around us are going to live in the future from now on. So let's figure out what it is like. That's the first chapter. Does everybody feel and relate to this picture? Are we more or less like that? Yeah? Let's add a tinge of music. Now? Can you relate to that music? Any guesses who that is? Well, my guys will tell probably Beatles. Well, actually, no. This is Daddy's Car. 1.7 million likes and hits already. That many fans. But it's a mimic of all what Beatles did ever, and it was composed by artificial intelligence. That tells us the first mechanic of futures, really. It's about imagination. If you can imagine, you can articulate, you can build it, right? The second mechanic is about change itself. Now, we all know about change. Change is continuous, it's living, but there are change, the way I articulate, it's about three things. Number one, change is continuous. It's like a flow. Number two, it's exponential. We heard about exponential change a little bit earlier. Also, it is very, very convergent in many unexpected ways. So let's look at the first one. And when it comes in like continuously and it's exponential, it's very tough for a human mind, which thinks very linearly, to really understand, grasp it, and make a plan or take actions. So the way I understood it, I said, okay, let's figure out how to tell myself. Does anybody know the 30 exponential step exercise here? Singularity University? That's how I thought it was probably easier for me. Let's do that together. So if I take 30 steps from here, I'm going to probably reach a little bit before that camera, right? 30 steps, 30 meters. 1, 2, and so on. So when I take that journey, you all can see, I can plan for it, I can forecast. So can my competitors, my partners, and so on. But it becomes very, very unfair when it's about 30 exponential steps, because it doubles every time. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. Any mathematicians here who can complete that sequence? How much is 30 exponential steps? Anyone? Well, I can tell you it's far, far away. It's 1 billion meters. But even then, a simple human mind does not really compute. We need to add a little bit of context to that. It's actually 26 times around the Earth. That's exponential. What does this exponential change bring to us in daily lives? Look at this. This is a young gentleman in a developing country, has got access to the information, and I think he's that much connected that a United States president only was 17 years ago. And imagine what this guy can do with that connectedness and that information. Probably a little bit more than what the current US guy is doing. Next one. You see a little bit of ouch moment here. This is Colonel Lee. His job is to train the fighter pilots, produce the best for the country. He's having a little ouch moment because he just got beaten by AI in a dogfight. Some other interesting things are happening. Swedish scientists. What you see on the top right is actually wood, but it's transparent. Yes, it's all qualities of wood. They took the opacity out. The second one you see over here is actually aluminium. All the qualities of aluminium, but transparent. The third one, any guesses what's that? Well, it's glass. It was always transparent, but this is a solar cell now. What does that mean for your businesses? If you are in businesses of making facades or windows, what does it mean for architecture, for energy distribution? This one here, you know, it's like a driverless office, driverless boardroom, driverless gym, whatever you want to call it. You can do all the actions that you do not imagine that you can do in today's cars. The building that you see is a skyscraper which is actually like a grid. So you can take that and decide to live on the 79th floor along with another partner who drives it, and you suddenly have a 2-room apartment. That is a possible future. Now let me talk a little bit about convergence. Anybody knows Barbie? I can see any hands. No one knows Barbie? Anybody Barbie? Okay, few. It's okay. I played with Barbie too. So let's see what Barbie can tell us.
I want to be a scientist.
Eureka! A scientist. I think science is so amazing. Why do you want to be a scientist?
Get the volume up.
I always really liked chemistry and physics in school.
The study of physics is incredible. Take gravity. You can't see it, but the second you trip, it's right there to pull you down. Did you ever fall or trip on something?
Yeah, unfortunately, all the time.
It happens to me all the time. That's gravity, pulling you down, sometimes with an ouch.
Sometimes with an ouch. This amazing convergence. This is actually Barbie from one of our customers called Mattel. It is converging in unexpected ways, as I said. You know, there's cloud computing, there are sensors, it can see, it can, you know, it can feel, right? It can probably do a lot of analysis and reporting as well. Some people I know maybe want to go out for dinner with Barbie too. But it's going to impact our businesses in a very, very unexpected way. I don't know if somebody up here is in food business. What does it mean? A kid holds a Barbie, orders a Mac, you know, a Big Mac. It's possible. Barbie places the order, there's all these Amazon drones and everything delivering the, you know, a burger. You pay because it's your credit card. Or the other possible future is it becomes your guide for nutrition. It becomes guide to, you know, create new recipes, connect all the dots that were not connected before. This is unexpected convergence. You can buy this $120 on Amazon. The next change we are seeing is actually space. It's not only because these guys, they're rich and they're sending rockets in space. It's chain of designs. So this guy here is about, you know, articulating industrialization of space. There are many new missions. Joel said, you know, he's building like a machine to go out into space, capture the rocks, squeeze in solar power on that, and extract the energy because maybe there will be 7-Elevens in space. So if you can articulate the change, you can even build. For us, if SAP might not go to the space by itself, but if our customers, if you guys see business opportunities there, we gotta be ready. We gotta be ready to support you on that journey. All right, so let's summarize that first chapter. It was about change. Remember, three things. Change is continuous, it's exponential, and it's convergent. Because it's getting faster ever than before. So never in the human history was present so very temporary. Looking at the human side, we also need to look at what we actually have. We're not talking about it enough. The empathy, the creativity, the new skills that we will need. Even from the World Economic Forum, you know, we said, okay, critical thinking, creativity, cognitive flexibility. Do we already know what we are going to teach our kids, the next generation? Probably not, but we have some guidelines. We heard from Michael a little bit about how the mindset of the organization and the organization designed to follow that rapid change, to follow this exponential growth needs to happen. So we are indeed moving from profit to purpose, where very controlled hierarchies, you know, need to become very powerful networks that are empowered, that have KPIs of experimentation and not only the KPIs of the past, the operational efficiency KPIs, and you know, have that transparency. Without transparency, you won't be able to collaborate. That's the new world. It's very collaborative. All right, you with me so far? All right, good. Let's go to the next chapter. How do we, now we have observed, so how do we bring that back? What are the mechanics for innovation? Now, one of the challenges I've seen speaking with most organizations, everyone is busy. So busy. We have this idea, but we're so busy to improve because we have this backlog, right? There's a lot of backlog. And that's, for me, the first horizon of innovation. This is called the now. While it is very, very important to safeguard now, unfortunately many people think that this is the only play field. This is not. If you put all your resources and if you forecast them, you reach the next horizon, yeah, which is the second horizon, adjacent innovation. Now you watch the timeline. Remember, every time you look, future is faster than you think. Look at the timeline now. So, you forecast your resources and you land into the second horizon. That's where you build some proof points on where you want to go. But there is another one, and watch the timeline carefully. This is the third horizon. This is the transformational horizon. We call this new. That's where you lead with your vision, your thought leadership. But you know what's the problem? You cannot forecast. There's not enough data. There's not enough proof points that you need. So how do we deal with that? We need to backcast. We backcast from an articulated future to figure out a possible future and then work on that. Work on the desired future. And your proof points need to be established in the second horizon of trust. Mind you, that's a very difficult horizon, right? It's not easy. That's where your dreams can fail if we do not apply the right KPIs. Each of this horizon need to have different KPIs. The first one, it's all right. Operational efficiency KPIs, a little bit of growth, and so on. The second is really about experimentation, about learning more than experimentation. How do you apply the learning from the experimentation of the third horizon into the first and impact the first one? So that was the second one. That was mechanic. And the key here is, by the way, you need to be able to operate in all the three horizons at the same time. That's the key to success. That's the key to manage the transformation, and that's the key not to lose any opportunities. And each of those, you will have different mechanisms in your companies, depending on the company. Some have own startup accelerators, some partner with somebody, so that you can prove those points in the second horizon. Now let me show you what we are doing. How does SAP look at it, and how have we articulated our long-term innovation vision? Right. Because we believe fundamentally that our long-term innovation vision, it is going to be based on this beautiful symbiosis between machine intelligence and human ingenuity, right? You very well know our vision. We want to help the world run better, improve people's lives. Yes, using our software across 7 lines of businesses, 25 industries, and having the world's largest network. We believe we can empower the businesses to create that change and do good business. So how do we move ahead in the future? Remember, machine intelligence, human ingenuity. Let me introduce you to the 4 quadrants that we have articulated. The first one, this is where we will take a lead, will be relevant. It's called self-running enterprise systems. That's where we believe today's power of data analytics and machine learning, AI, all that comes together. The second one is about self-organizing business ecosystems. The third one, it's about augmentation. It's augmented me. So imagine the first 3 are the 3 A's. Automation, autonomy, augmentation. If that comes together, you can do business and enable business with purpose. Create your new methods, new market models, new markets and business models for doing business with purpose in the economy of abundance. How do you as a consumer or partner get that from SAP? Via a concept called the intelligent enterprise. Now, let me dig deep a little bit into the first one and give you some examples, okay? So within this, we have to understand what are the different levels of enterprise automation. We probably know a little bit from the car industry, right? We have seen how different levels of automations are done. We did that for the, for the enterprises, where the whole idea of ourselves in the beginning was really to focus on the high-value human task and let human be human at last, right? So we have come in a long way. In the earlier days, we actually defined work ourselves and we did it ourselves, right? Then we moved a little bit towards the transactional enterprises where we did a routine problem solving, but the manuals evolved, the checklists evolved, and the software for that evolved. And now we are into digital, where you can take the benefit of all the discussions this morning, your data strategies, your integration, your analytics, and then get into controlling it. So you're getting even more high-value tasks. And eventually, what we want to get, where we want to get, is move from digital to just being able to supervise. That's what we call self-running. Maybe the moonshots there will be a self-running function altogether by the system. Now mind you, digital to intelligent is a very tough step. It's not easy. If you don't get your digital strategy right, you'll be delayed getting the benefit from the intelligence of the system and making your own organizations an intelligent organization end-to-end. So again, focusing from manual work to intelligent work to in the end being able to nourish relationships. Supervise when you need to, focus on your empathy-based creative work that you've been doing for the better world. There are many examples. This one, many of us deal with so many changes in the laws in the countries that we operate for our business. Use machine learning, HANA and all its capabilities together to simply enrich the quality time at work for that lawyer, for the person who needs to read those, go through those and make changes. Because yes, regulators need that. Or something completely different, real world problem. There's a picture from Berlin. It's the grid, grid of transformers. That's where what we did was, okay, in case of outages, there's so much that needs to be done in microseconds. So, using Data Hub, using different machine learning capabilities, ability to have a conversational interface, we build that, right? So this is network planning is a good example, very tangible. It's now. What I showed you was the 10th step, but it's important from our third horizon to now to articulate what is our 9th, 8th, 7th, and this would be already your first, second step towards it. Now let's look at how AI can redefine business models altogether. This is about media. Now, return on investment for all these advertisements or the the brand placements and so on. Today, the way it's done is somebody gets a clicker and says, okay, you follow Audi, you follow Volkswagen, or you follow some other brand, and you go click, 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 spot it, spot it, spot it. So no, we can change that. So this particular app, it analyzes those videos and very quickly detects your logos and tells you how much, tells you the value for what you've paid for, Exposures, that's the currency. But what if we take this beyond? There's only the first and second step. As an advertiser, you might want to show your logo where the puck is, because that, even if it's losing sight, you want your brand to be visible. We can change that. This is how you create new business models. And eventually, what we want to do is change not only what work is, but redefine business models altogether. This picture might be a little bit scary, but this is true. This is our confidence, the road towards eventually making all SAP applications intelligent. Across line of businesses and continuously enriching the platform. Let's look at the next one, self-organizing business ecosystems. This is something I truly, truly love. I think Michael shared a little bit about how empowered teams can work. For me, this is about empowered networks, business networks. You get, finally, the value out of the network of networks. You would be able to transact down to the lot size of one. As an entity, as a company and a supplier all together. Beyond the existing boundaries of organizations. That's why this picture for me is like very, very revealing. We have to find out what really it is. Now, blockchain is a technology that helps us evolve here, in addition to the platforms and the networks of today, or Ariba, for example. Let's take a look at what we can do, because blockchain, again, there are many questions in mind. Let me give you an example of how blockchain can be applied to the real world scenario.
The United Nations launched an international disaster relief mission just after an island has been struck by an earthquake. The United States, France, and the Red Cross set up camps all over the island. Each of them brings specific resources and know-how. The Red Cross helps with drinking water, France brings medical support, and the United States provides helicopters. The blockchain acts as a single source of truth and provides transparency over asset needs. Let's assume the French camp has several doctors that need to fly to the other side of the island. They enter a request in the app, which is then broadcasted to all mission participants via blockchain. All other participants can instantly see the request and react with a specific offer. Here, the United States can provide 3 helicopters to be on site in 30 minutes. All parties have agreed on a smart contract. A simple, open algorithm embedded in the blockchain, ensuring that everyone sticks to commonly agreed upon rules. Once an offer matches the request, it's automatically accepted. Help can be provided without delay, and no other party needs to act on it.
And you can imagine multiple scenarios. Like this farm to consumer, maybe ocean to table. You want to know what's happening. We want to cut down on third parties. You want to drive into a consensus-driven system. That's where blockchain helps. Currently, we are working with more than 87 customers across, not only using blockchain as a service from SAP side, but really looking at what are those possibilities on secure track and trace and so on. I can send you more information when you need. Now, this is my favorite, the next one, augmentation. Because we realize, unfortunately, our brains are not going to evolve as fast as we want. So we need a little support from the systems. I want that the systems become a little bit more polite to us. Today we learn the systems do not learn us. So how can we move ahead? Here is the first couple of steps. The very world's most famous application? Pen and paper. Can you interact with the ERP system using pen and paper? You can do it now. Look at that. Of course, the digital pen and paper, right? The tablet. So what just happened was you were in a context and you said, okay, show me the revenue. Instead of clicking in transactions, you just went and it gave you the data from your ERP system. Imagine this can be any data in your context that you want. Now let's take it a little one step further. I've got my digital twin here. It's a vision prototype I'm going to share with you. So, what's up, Copilot? You got to bring this back. Okay, it will come. So the whole idea is to understand. So Copilot, in the situations where you can talk to it and understand, and it gets my biometrics, it understands where I am, tells me how much I know, what I should know, and when I should know, right? And can we have that kind of interaction with the systems? Let's see. Now you need to go back. Should I use the back button here? Okay. So, let's try again. Copilot, what's up today?
Hey Upen, you have had a fairly busy and exciting day, and now it is time for a good cup of coffee. Your biometrics show me that it would be good for you. With just 1 cup, remember.
Okay, 1 cup. It obviously knows I'm fond of coffee. There was a very good coffee outside, by the way. So, all right. Look, I've been speaking with Inda, and I've been wondering about our team performance. How can we stimulate the team a little bit better?
Let me have a look. Your employee satisfaction numbers are quite good compared to the rest of the company, and in the top 10% of the market you play in.
All right. That is interesting indeed. Please go on.
Cross-functional projects build stronger product quality in your department. The more your developers travel together with your designers, the better employee satisfaction KPIs you get. There is a relation to higher performance year on year. It seems to be beneficial for your team performance to explore new ideas, especially for the least traveled colleagues. The boost in performance would be around 11%.
Around 11%. So it's giving me all that information in a certain context where I am, and it's finding me deep causalities, right? So, Copilot, these are some deep causalities. I did not see these relations before.
Well, you never asked. I will remember that you like this.
Okay, so it's apparently going to remember as well. So, this was a vision prototype. How you saw augmented me can help me in the situations where if I'm in a meeting, I need to be able to write and interact with the system. But if I'm by myself, I can talk to the system, and the system goes through the entire enterprise relevant data. Now, when you put all these 3 A's together, we are going towards the economy of abundance, right? So this is where people will want to know, because they have a lot of choice. They would want to know who to work with. Why do I make that choice? So we need to articulate the purpose. If we don't articulate the purpose, we probably will not have that, luxury of having those customers coming to us again, having those partnerships and so on. So we do invest in a lot of different areas for purpose-led business, right from ocean cleanup to helping our own employees in an entrepreneurship way. But the important question to be asked is, why are you relevant from 10 years from now? How do you take those decisions? How do you move forward? If we do not articulate, if we do not tell this to the outside world, we probably will not be relevant. So this, ladies and gentlemen, were the 4 quadrants of the innovation vision. Across each of them, and how you can consume this YDST Leonardo systems. It was the content and the intent both that I wanted to share with you today here in Jakarta. Because intelligent enterprise itself was created as work of science fiction by somebody. I hope it will be there in 1972 or so. And today, it is a reality that we have come across with 3 things: with your applications, with your intelligent systems, and the platform. Now my last question. Do you know what is this? Any guesses a bit louder? That's big data. This is big data from 1939. London Metro employed these women to look at the used tickets and find out patterns. Look at how much the data is growing. I'm so thankful that we have the right systems today in place, because we were always curious and we will be curious in future too. So just to conclude, well, I don't have to tell you that this is artificial intelligence. It's called a piece called Genesis. I love so much. Means a new beginning. So now we know how to observe the change. Now we know how to act across all the three horizons. How to move from this utopia of science fiction and use the utopia, the hard work, to convert them into the science facts for businesses. We are ambitious, we're aware. And once we have articulated that future, there is no stopping us. Innovation, ladies and gentlemen, is too important to be left alone to a country, a company, or an individual. We're here together. If we don't build the future ourselves, somebody else will hand it to us. We might not like it. So let's build and inspire that intelligent future, starting now. Thank you very much.